Hi guys, today we're going to talk about gender-based violence, and today I'm joined by a psychologist. Can you introduce yourself?
Oh, thank you so much for having me. My name is Goko. I'm a psychologist by profession. I'm a feminist. I'm the founder of Healing Hearts community-based organization, and I speak the language of inclusion, diversity, equality, justice, humanity, and respect. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've been noticing a rise in cases of gender-based violence, especially around campuses. Like the recent case of Femicide, it was a campus student from Goko.
Yes.
And it's very saddening. So as a psychologist, number one, what are the effects of these gender-based violence cases on maybe the survivors, the parents?
Thank you so much for that question. One of the things that I believe we cannot be able to say the causes or anything before defining what you're talking about. So femicide is intentional killing of women and girls because of their gender. And this is the most simplest way that I can put it. And also, I'm not at a point to talk from a perspective of gender-based violence. This is femicide, not gender-based violence. And I'm talking about this because this is something we're pushing, is a policy we are pushing, something we're pushing to the government to actually put it in the penal code and address femicide as femicide, not as gender-based violence. Because we can see from the killings, to be honest, it is so saddening, and these killings are so intentional, like if this someone who is taking their time to chop off somebody's parts, you get, and even having time to take the head and transport it to and take it to another place. So we can see there is a lot of intentionality. We can see there is a lot of calculated moves in this act. That is why we are addressing it as femicide. And it has actually, as a lady, it has traumatized us.
True.
It makes us feel like we have to be always on the lookout. Hata chalia kitutumia pale inbox like hi nini, you're like, I don't want to know you, I don't want to meet you. You get where I'm coming from?
I'm sitting very cautious.
Yes, we have to fear for our life, because at the end of the day, the perpetrators are not walking around written like, oh, I'm a serial killer. You get, and these are the people that, when you look at the data from 2016 to 2023 December, it is indicating that at least 500 women have been reported to have succumbed to femicide. And when you look deep, okay, I love just going deep into things, just so that I can get my facts right. 241 women were killed by their husbands. So from that we can see only 99 women were killed by strangers, and only 21 women were killed by their friends. So others is either ex-partner. 241 that they are leading women were killed by their husband. So we can see these are people that they called family. By the time someone is called your husband, this is your family, right? It does not mean that, it does not have to be that you had kids, but this is someone that has been considered your family. This is your husband, and someone you trust your life with, only for that person to come and take away your life. So when we look at that, especially for us that are yet to be married like myself, I'm like, oh, am I really ready to get myself into this? So it has traumatized me. Being an activist and someone who is in the forefront fighting to end femicide in Kenya, I'm already traumatized myself. And that is why it is also pushing me to do what I'm doing right now. And also the trauma that the family has been left with. This is a wound that will never heal. Even if justice is given, it is a wound that will never heal. You have taken away someone's mother. You have taken away someone's daughter. You have taken away someone's sister, and someone impactful in the society. If this was a lawyer, if this was a doctor, you have already taken that away from us. So there is a lot of trauma that has been left, or not only to the survivors also. And now when you talk even about trauma, I want to just digress a bit so that we can come to this. There's this thing of victim blaming that has been going on. We tell our girls, oh, you shouldn't have done, you shouldn't have gone, you shouldn't have. You understand? So whether intentional or unintentional victim blaming, it is leaving the survivors. We have the victims and the survivors. The victims have already succumbed to femicide, and may their souls rest in power. And for this, our survivors, they're making the survivors to feel like, oh, so it was my fault. That is why this person did this to me. So it is making people not even to report these cases, because at the end of the day, you see, the society will blame me.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you live with that guilt of thinking, oh, they did what they did to me because I made them do it. And also to the families, I mean, the families are already hurt. And also to the victim has already died in the most gruesome way, in the most painful way. So it is traumatizing the whole society. And also now when we get to the kids, you know, it is so sad that our kids, or rather the kids, we call them just our kids, even if we have not given birth to them. These kids, they're seeing what is happening. They're seeing it on the televisions. You know, we are raising a generation that is like, we're normalizing these things happen. You know, like watu wana alafu inaletwa kwa TV na hiyo story na. So the impact that it is really damaging the society. It is really damaging our society. To be honest, we are beyond traumatized. It is now damaged. Yeah.
And perhaps maybe how can this, victims or survivors, how can they seek help for mental services?
Oh, okay.
After these cases, of course, someone seated at home, maybe they don't want to report because, again, of what you said, victim blaming. How can we support them mentally to overcome some of the things that have happened to them?
These people are in need of dire need, to be precise, of psychosocial support. They need to be supported, because even for us that are witnessing these things, it's not easy. It's not easy. I'll tell you of a case that I'm in the forefront, and I do rescue missions of maybe different cases, but based on women, where I'm going to save the woman. And the last case, we went to rescue this woman, and she was in the police station, and we went to help her. So when we got there with my colleague, as we were at the gate, we found a certain guy, and then he said, rescue mission, it's either you take a boda or whatever is available at that moment and just go and save someone. Unfortunately, that lady had already been taken to the police station. Now we were going to get her and take her to the hospital. And at the gate, we met this guy, for lack of a better word, because we were on a border. He started telling the border guy, you have brought Chihuahua. You get, Already at that point, I'm like, there's a woman who has already been raped in the streets, taken to the police station. Now the police calling, I go take her to the hospital. And then there's a man who's calling me like a Chihuahua. To be honest, that's equivalent to a dog. You have brought dogs here. So for me, I don't let that slide. I confronted him and I asked him, why are you calling us that? And he said, you all just dogs. You've come to the police station to report us. And I'm like, I do not know you, guy. I don't even know you. Why are you doing it? As much as maybe you look high and all that, where do you get the audacity? And especially to do it at the gate of the police station. So to cut the long story short, I'm here to say that no woman's life is not at risk. I feel like most of us are at a point of maybe potential victims of femicide, because in whose hands are we safe? Right, left, center, it's like they are waiting to prey on us, And with that, even now, when I was telling you the story, I was coming from a point of, even me, I go for therapy because of some of the things that I get to witness on the ground, and I have to go and unpack. And for the survivors and the families that have been left by their dear ones, they actually need this support. And for us, like Healing Hearts, community-based organization, we have slashed our therapy sessions because therapy in Kenya is very expensive. It is very expensive. So we have slashed our therapy sessions to 1,000 shillings so that people can be able to access, people can be able to at least access these services. And but also we are not limited to pro bonos. If there's a case that we see that there's a pro bono needed here, we actually do give it. And also in collaboration with other organizations, we offer support to them that are in dire need of all these things, these services. So yeah, we are here to support, not only to fight against femicide, but also to offer support to the survivors and also the families of the ones that have been left. And also one of the things as an activist that we are doing is to push for the government and the local authorities to actually implement structures that will help the survivors. I know being offered psychosocial support will not change the fact that you have already lost your dear one, but at least you have already lost your dear one. You are grieving, you are in pain, and then go to an extent of even now having to spend money for you to access therapy. You know, that is, I feel like now the government should step in and help to bring people together where they can come and commune. It won't change the fact that you lost your dear one, but at least this sort of relief, or rather seeing that I'm not in this alone. I have other people that we can walk through in this journey.
And when you're talking about being candidates of femicide, I remember someday we were in a matatu with a friend, and the guys that were seated at the front row, at the front seats, they were really disturbing us. But then we don't want to pay attention to them. So eventually, these guys talked really bad to us. And what they were saying, even the conductor just came and told us, just get out from here. Because the things that they were saying from their mouths, and you can imagine that's someone's dad, someone's husband, and the names they were calling us are not even appropriate to be told on camera. And I just felt like, oh my God.
I know.
I was so scared. And I'm like, if everyone is going through this, or every lady is going through this, then we also need to educate our men.
Yeah. Yes. On that case, to be honest, I'm not in a position to educate men. There's no way, as a potential victim, I'll talk to my perpetrator. What are the Americs and Badwagon? What is the president doing? These are the same men that bring men together to tell them to not to respect women. So they're supposed to undo this and bring men together and tell them they should respect women and they should stop doing that. I say that violence against women is not like cultural, as maybe the way it was termed to believe. This is criminal, and equality cannot eventually come. We have to fight for it, and it's now. And that is one of the things that gears me to do what I'm doing right now. Because if you go to talk to them, they'll tell you, oh, why are you telling me this? So the men that have a voice in the society are the same men who should undo what they are currently doing, and then undo it and educate their fellow men and tell them, you know what? This is how you're supposed to be, because there's this notion, and if we go with it as men will always be men, then women will always die. Yes. If men will always be men, then women will always die. So I'm not going with that notion. I'm like, educate your son. Yeah, educate your son.
So most of these victims or survivors have been campus students.
Yeah.
So what can we do for these campus students?
Wow. One of the things is to say that when we talk, this is a very, very sensitive question, because this question has been taken by society to victim blame, where they're saying they're sidelining the actual thing that is happening, that is femicide, and bringing in the issue of money and bringing in Airbnbs. You get. And Airbnbs is not the thing that we should actually talk. They have been existing. This is just a channel that the perpetrator has seen to execute their actions. So it is not about the Airbnb. It's not about. And when we talk about money, I mean, nobody loves to live in a nobody loves poverty. I know, right? So what they are doing, the perpetrators are using that channel. If, for instance, we say, it is about money. It's not about money. It's the perpetrator using that because they feel the money has power to bring in the victim and execute whatever they want to do. You get? Now that's the whole notion of it. And this is a topic and something that the society is not ready to talk about. And one of the things that I'll actually highlight is when they talk about sex work now, and they say sex work is, they're doing sex work. As an activist, I believe that sex work is work. And sex work is not only from the person selling, it's also from the person buying. You get? Yes, yes, it is a two-way, because kama hakuna mtu kununua, hakuna mtu
wakuuza.
Thank you. And now they're victim blaming and taking it to the woman, because when you say about sex work, you trying to, they only see like a woman who is the only one who does it, or who is on. That is how we have been grouped to believe. But the real sex is a two-way traffic, the seller and the buyer, and that is the thing. So when it comes to our children, to our sisters that are in the university, let us stop telling them security starts with them. They have already taken the precautions, because there is no way, my dear, I will leave my house dressed nicely to come and meet you knowing that you will kill me. So me coming, consenting, and then at the end of the day, these are consenting human beings according to the Constitution of Kenya. They are above 18 years old. They already took the precaution of safety, and they knew that I'll be safe with you and wherever we have decided to meet. So security starts with people around you. I have already taken mine. Me agreeing to come, I have already taken. Me agreeing to get into that Uber is because I've already taken my precaution that I'm safe. So it is upon the driver to make sure that I'm also safe. So when it comes to them, let us just stop. This is the question actually is just taking me to victim blaming. The more we victim blame, the more we make our sisters feel like they're nuisance, they're sex objects in the society. There's a whole lot of things. And now when we're coming in, we're bringing the women empowerment, where we are telling women now it is time for us to step up. It is time for us to air to raise our voice even when it's shaking. It is time for us to get into these rooms and get our space there. It is time for us to be who we were meant to be, and the power that is within us that we carry, for us to show the world this is what we got. We are beyond these bodies that you see. We are beyond what you have been groomed by the patriarchy to believe. Because these killings, when you look at it, the umbrella of it is patriarchy. Patriarchy, it is where women, we have been believed to believe that we have been groomed to believe that we have no say in the society. And the thing that is enabling femicide, it is misogyny, where a man will kill a woman because of a lot of hatred towards a woman. Maybe they had neglect, or they were neglected as children or something. It's because of also sexual orientation. It's because of how people choose to use their bodies. And this is where we bring in bodily autonomy. I should be able to make choices of my body without feeling politicized, because at the end of the day, it is my body. So the moment you tell me this is what, like, you trying to politicize my way of living, it is also you, when you victim blame, and when you try when you victim blame, you affirm the murderer, you affirm the perpetrator, knowing that I did it. Because so the whole thing of, oh, women should dress this way. In 2014, we did a protest in the streets of Nairobi where we said, my dress, my choice. And my dress, my choice is not just because we just want to dress how we want and all that. Okay, we want to dress how we want, but it came from a point where women were sexually harassed because of how they dress. And in 2019, we did a protest in the streets of Nairobi where we said her life matters. It was because of femicide. And in 2024, a decade down the line, we still did a protest last Saturday where we said end femicide. Until when, you see, the more we say her dress matters, they take her life. We said her life matters, they continue doing it.
And now they're targeting those university students because they think they want money. They're naive.
That is what they think. But they're using that as a tool of power to get them. And for them not to just get them, for them to kill them. Exactly.
What's your parting shot?
My parting shot is end femicide.
Stop killing women. We are not safe. And a world free from femicide is actually possible. That is the hope that I'm sending out there. I'm sending love, light, hugs, and good vibes to everyone that will watch this interview. And also thank you so much, because this is one of the way of making the information to get out there and sensitize people, because information is power at the end of the day. And we need to do this oftenly. And we need to tell people that there are so many other options. There's so many other options. Killing is not the only option. So yeah, a world free from femicide is possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome.
You provided very good insights. If someone out there will learn, please just learn. Thank you so much for joining us. Maina evening. Bye.
Bye.